Okay, so I wanted to make a video today about the pitfalls and the negatives about selling on Amazon FBA from Ireland. Now, I know a lot of you guys have asked me about this, and I'll be honest, there's not too many pitfalls, but there is some that I want to cover at a high level here today for you, right? So first of all, thank you all that's watching these videos. Thank you to all that is subscribing. And if you have any questions, put them down below in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer them, okay? So the biggest pitfall, and this is a relatively new pitfall because this wasn't really, it wasn't present until relatively recently, okay? So again, I'm not a accountant, you need to get your own tax advice. However, from my experience, I will share with you what I've learned and what I've seen doing this from Ireland since 2016. So until the 1st of January 2021, sellers that have a UK business and are established outside the UK are able to, or were able, I should say, to take advantage of the £85,000 VAT threshold. Okay, so in a nutshell, what this meant was that you didn't need to register for VAT until you exceeded £85,000 in turnover in a given period, right? Which with an Amazon business can happen relatively quickly. However, there was issues. So sellers from different countries, not necessarily Ireland, but countries maybe further away, were taking advantage of this scheme and ultimately never paying HMRC their respective VAT. Now, this meant that they were able to uncut or undercut sellers like me and like you and like other and UK established sellers in terms of the margins. They were basically saving 20%. Now, HMRC became aware of this and they wanted to address it, which is fair. And as is the case often with these things, a brush will sweep away the good and the bad, right? So what happened was, ultimately, the way they left it was that unless your business is physically operated from the UK, so what I mean by that, I mean, it's not just a shelf company, so it's a company registered in an accountant's office. It has more than that. It has an office, or it has a location whereby it could receive taxable goods, or that, you operate from, like as in you sit there and you do your work or whatever, or you have employees and a combination of these things. Without this, in a nutshell, right, there's a bit more detail to it, but without that, you are, even if you had a UK company, were to be treated as non-resident for VAT purposes, which ultimately means that as an Irish seller, whether you have an Irish company, okay, or as I often recommend in the case, a UK company, you need to register and pay VAT to HMRC from day one. Or rather, Amazon will have to pay the VAT to HMRC on your behalf. That's actually one interesting part of it, that Amazon, or the online seller or marketplace, is responsible for collecting the VAT and remitting it to HMRC. Now, this means that as sellers, unless you have that UK base, you do not get the advantage of that £85,000 VAT threshold, which was very handy when starting a business, because that extra margin could go into extra stock, extra products, and all that kind of stuff. However, our goal as sellers should always be to grow our business and exceed the £85,000. So whilst it's unfortunate that we can't take advantage of it if we are established outside the UK, it is still a goal that we should always have aimed for anyway, and we're always going to reach anyway. So all we need to do now is just make sure that we have sufficient margin inside our product, inside our business, to absorb that and still make a profit. Ultimately, I feel this should be overall beneficial for the market in general, because it means that people that are undercutting and defrauding the government and ultimately selling products too low cost or too competitive should not be able to do that anymore. And there is other rules coming in terms of Companies House in the UK, if it's a UK company, looking into actually who owns the company. So in the past, it was relatively simple to set up a company, and still will be, but they'll just want to know who is the directors, like where are they based. So it should hopefully mean that there's less of this unfair competition in the marketplace. But as I said, unfortunately, for people based in Ireland, whether through an Irish company or through a UK company, unless they're physically established in the UK or the business is, because they can still be living in Ireland, but the business has to be established in the UK and operate from there, they can't take advantage of the VAT threshold. So that, to me, is probably the biggest change in operating an Amazon FBA business from Ireland in the last number of years, okay? And the biggest drawback. But alas, if you want to do it and you still want to explore this and still want to pursue this, there's still a lot of money to be made. There's still opportunities there. And it just means that you just need to be aware of your margins even more so than you were in the past, because the margins are a little bit tighter. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, just hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I do enjoy making them for you guys. And any questions, as always, please let me know. If you want to do this for yourself, just go up to my bio there on the description of the video and click there. There's different ways you can work with me. That might be a fit, it may not. But nonetheless, just bear that in mind and you will be okay. Cheers, folks.